Oh, hi everyone. It's Miss Esther. I'm so glad to be back with you again, and we're going to talk about some more history. Hey, remember, if you like what I say, like and subscribe and share so that more people can hear this history and we can do this more often the more subscribers we have. Okay, so let's continue what we were talking about Israel and Palestine. The first one, I gave you several questions in order to research before I did the second one. And the second one, I answered the questions. And now we're at the third one where I kind of want to go over everything just a little bit and go into what we're going to be doing a little bit later because some of you are a bit just perplexed about what you're seeing on the news right now. And right now it's June of 2024. And there are so many young people who are protesting for people who, let us just say, would not be very kind to them if they got a chance to get hold of them. And they don't understand. And they don't understand their history. And that is really the major problem that's going on with a lot of young people. And so when we go into the next series, we want to talk about why so many young people are lacking in their understanding of history and how dangerous that is. And that's why you're seeing some of the protests and things you're seeing right now. So quickly, let me put my helpers on. We answered these questions. Are the Palestinians, the ancient Palestinians in history and in biblical history as well? And they are not. The ancient Palestinians were Greek. This is one reason why the young Palestinians today, when they do their DNA, they're kind of shocked that their DNA doesn't say Palestinian. It says Egyptian and Syrian and Jordanian and various Arab countries around them. The historians have been saying for decades, hey, this is where the Palestinians came from. So they are from various Arab states surrounding them. The ancient Palestinians were Greek, and they are not those people. So the other question, was the area always called Palestine? No, for thousands of years it was Israel, Judea, and that is just simply the truth of history. Do your research. It was called Palestine after the Bar Kokhba rebellion around 132, 135 AD or CE, if you rather say that. And so there's a lot more that we said in our last video about that. Okay, were the Jews always in the land of Israel / Palestine, as this called? And yes, always. Throughout every major thing that's happened. And it was the Ottoman Empire, not the state of Palestine, that ruled before they were ruling actually when the diaspora started coming back. And so the old Yeshuvim, look that up, had been there for thousands of years. They were a continuation from the Jewish communities that had been there for thousands of years. So I look at this and I'm like, really, archaeology, DNA, all these things, they prove it's not a big issue that the Jews have been there and that this land was Israel. Okay, so was there ever a fair partition of the land? So early in the 1900s, yes, there was with the League of Nations. That was the organization prior to the United Nations. So between Britain and the League of Nations, they partitioned the land. And Israel's so small. It's so tiny. It's tinier today than it was back then. And so that will come up even a little bit later. So I'm just trying to get through all of these. And another question was, do you know the difference between war and war crimes? You know, an act of war and war crimes. An act of war is when soldiers go and they come against other soldiers. And they may come against a land, but here's the thing. There's a totally different when you actually target innocent civilians who have no way of defending themselves and you murder them in such nefarious ways. That is a war crime. I always use this example that if Hitler would have had children, you still wouldn't go in and murder his children. Okay, that would be a war crime. You know, so this is something that it seems that our young people are having a hard time grasping, and older people who have been educated in just regular history, they don't understand why. But that's some of the focus of what we're going to talk about. Okay, so I want to just say that if you have any questions about any of this, please, I don't mind people making statements and everything. And I've heard from a few of you, some people just want to argue with me, and no matter what I say or what I state, they still argue. And then after a while, I kind of leave that alone. And you'll see that if you look at some of the comments, because this is not about arguing about anything. History has been around for history a long time, okay? It's been around a long time. And so before everything became political and you got all these history revisionism, that's what I'm trying to say. It's, these histories, they've been there. So if you even have to go to old encyclopedias just to see, oh, I guess it does say that. Yeah, it does. It's so sad when I see people, they have no clue, and they come up with, oh no, it was this way and that way. And I'm like, okay, so where is your evidence of that? And so I tell you that that land that was called Palestine at one point, but more was called Israel and Judea more than anything. That land was ruled by the Ottomans for hundreds of years, and it wasn't until after World War One, when the Ottoman Empire kind of crumbled, and that's Turkey now, okay? Then that's when the Brits took over, and eventually they partitioned the land, okay? That is just simple history that you can find anywhere. All right, so my big issue that I really want to deal with next time is why you have so many of these young people who are just protesting in favor of a terrorist organization. It is officially considered a terrorist organization. Hamas is. And so why are they doing it? And it is over sheer ignorance of history. They really don't know. Now, I've talked to quite a few people under the age of, I would say, 38. And the history that they've been taught, which is very little, is very different than the history that those of us over 50 have been taught. And so I put together this test, and I'm hoping to be able to attach it. If I can't attach it, what I will do on the next episode is to give you an email address that you can write to, and then I can actually send that to you. Okay, so in this test, it asks just some simple questions, because one of these people under 38 that I talked to was completely unaware when I said to them, hey, Israel is so tiny, it's as tiny as New Jersey. And they said, oh, New Jersey is huge. No, New Jersey is one of the tiniest states in the Union. But they have no sense of this. One was a businessman who, and he just told me, he said, I didn't know where anything was until I started traveling. He said, I didn't know what continent was what. And that sounds almost insane to those of us that are older who learned these things in elementary. And by the time we were in middle school, we were pretty much experts at it. So I've made this test up. It asks, can you give me 5 presidents' names before 1950? You can't use Washington or Lincoln. And most of these people under 38, they can't do it. I also asked them about the 7 continents, where they are. Some of them who have taken this test literally put Europe where Asia is, Antarctica, some of them didn't even know where the Americas were, and they are Americans. I think one of the saddest things, I asked them, who was here before the Europeans came to America? And they didn't know that the Native Americans were here first. And one of them was Native American and didn't know. I can go down the line. You just would not believe some of the things that are not taught anymore. So we're going to deal with that next time. And this way you will kind of understand why these young people have been told certain things and they think, oh no, I know the history. Oh, I know this and that. And they really don't. So we're going to work to try to rectify that. So look, people, I'm so glad you tuned in today. I want to keep this nice and short. And so I will see you next week, and we are going to deal with some of that. Okay? Well, thank you. Thank you for being with me, and God bless. We'll see you. Bye-bye.